before I got married, she was like, hey, she was trying to stop me from getting married. And I was like, that's not going to happen.
So when you were courting your wife, you were still seeing this girl?
Well, I knew of her. I mean, we were still like associating with each other, but we wasn't like sleeping with each other throughout the whole time. So we did at the beginning, which my ex-wife knew about that.
So you got with your ex-wife?
Yes.
And in the dating stage, you were still messing with this girl?
Yes.
Right.
At the beginning stages of our
So
dating.
do you feel like this girl had a stronghold over you? Like there was...
Well, it was just this familiar spirit. It was just comfortable. It was like, we just vibed on that level. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy, you know. It was just easy. We just enjoyed each other a whole lot.
So why did you marry her instead of your wife?
Because I didn't feel like she was marriage material.
What is marriage material?
Like that crazy?
No, I get it. What is marriage material?
For me, I wanted a woman, like all the attributes that my ex-wife had, she didn't possess. And those are the things that I desired most.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're giving you guys a live. We're talking about, this is why I said I don't do the female friends, exes stuff, all this nonsense that happens. Look, let me tell you something. Once you go into a relationship, let's leave all that bull crap behind. I'm in a new relationship. Why are exes in the picture? Why are those female friends that you know that you are feeling in the picture? Why are they there? You know what I mean? Right? And so for me, I watched this video of Dear Wifey and Brittany Lee, and I know Brittany Lee quite well. And I watched the video and I said to myself, one thing I want to say, and I won't go too deep in this because I want to leave this for my other channel, Dark Arts channel. But there is... When I say supervillain, when you cheat, I need you to understand this. The same way a supervillain has to tell you what he is about to do, that arrogance, that ego, it's more of a case of I finally have somebody to listen to my plan of world domination. You know how Thanos said, you know, finally I look upon the sunset and I can rest. Like it's like you as a supervillain, you want to be having this space where supervillains just want to be loved. Let's be honest. Supervillains just want to be loved, okay? But it comes out as arrogance and ego when they start talking about their villainous ways. One thing I realized myself about cheating and manipulation and dark arts and moving mad and, you know, playing several women is that is one part of the game. The other part is you need somewhere to be able to tell someone or some people about how great you were. Because there's an ego that happens behind this whole thing. It's really scary, but it's real. It's like you do this thing, like he said, he's a habitual cheater, blah, blah, blah. But then there's almost an excitement in you telling your story. So I actually watched the comments on Brittany Lee's page, and I saw all the comments, a lot of the comments, the first few hundred, and they were like, he's being arrogant or he's too excited to tell the story. He doesn't seem as remorseful, And what people don't realize is it's not that he's not remorseful. It's just the fact that when you retell the story, the darkest thing about the story, about these kind of stories is you enjoyed it. You enjoyed messing around. You enjoyed planning. You enjoyed getting out of the house. You enjoyed lying. You enjoyed being deceitful. You enjoyed having sex with someone else. You enjoyed coming back to your wife who was giving you emotional connection, but then sleeping with someone else. You enjoy all these processes. It's one of the darkest things that people don't like talking about, you know, but I won't go too deep into it because that's for my other channel. But this specifically, just to answer those questions I saw in the chat in the comment section of Brittany Lee's page, was that people were just like frustrated a little bit with his way of storytelling. And I'm like, yo, if you know what a supervillain is, a supervillain will have to tell you the story in a particular way because he wants to be celebrated and he wants to be appreciated. I'm not saying he wants to be celebrated or appreciated for him cheating, by the way, but that's an aspect of it as well. It's like there's a gloat that happens behind it partly. And that's what I call it the dark psychology. There's a dark part in all of us, okay? You know, Paul says, I do, you know, the things that I do that I don't want to do, basically, right? There's a law in my members. And it's like there's something dark within all of us. That's unfortunate, human nature flawed. And when you pay attention to it, you start to see how it operates. But we're gonna jump into this video properly from the very beginning. Just gonna break it down because we're talking about you know, Lataris, I think it's Lataris Whitfield. I hope I pronounced it right. You know me, I kill people's names. And his journey in terms of him cheating in his first marriage and having a divorce. And so we're going to break it down and go a little bit deeper with what he actually said. So let's take it from, I don't know what to take it from. Let me take it from about 10 minutes in it, about 10 minutes in. Yeah, let's go to there. All right, let me bring this up. Here we go. Let's go to around about 8 minutes. Let's go.
It is, I don't live in my head. But I know in the future, amen, we're going to look towards the future.
Yes.
I want somebody that's not selfish with their vagina. Now, don't go share it with the world, but share it with me. Make it bountiful for me.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So
amen.
That was one of
you gotta
the.
Say amen after, so you don't feel like a heathen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. You make me feel like a heathen.
So
yeah,
those are some of the cons.
Yes.
Are some of the cons what led to the breakdown of the relationship?
Yeah, the cons were, and she said it best. Before we got married, when I was going through divorce, she said, I think I was a part of this 1,000 men of prayer at our church, and we would fast for 24 hours once a week. And on the third year of this, she said, you know what? And that's when I was going through divorce. And she said, I think that you fasted praying that I would change. And then I said, you're absolutely right. The first year that I fasted, I prayed that you would change. The second year, I prayed that I could accept those things that I didn't like, and just accept those things. And then that didn't work. And so the third year I decided that who you are, I no longer want to be married to. And so not bringing up my best self.
So what were the things that you wanted her to change, or you were praying for her to change? It was some of the things you just mentioned.
Some of the things, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that I never ever tell nobody.
Right.
Because I still have a protection over her because she's a very private person.
Yeah.
So I never really shared those specifics. It was just things that I always said that it's just not in alignment with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you know these things prior to getting
100%.
married? Were there things that you overlooked? Why did you overlook them? What was that process?
Because when you think about marrying somebody and I was 28 at the time.
Let's pause it right there. First and foremost, what do I always tell you guys? Do not be overlooking things at the very beginning. I've been there. I've done it. I've told you. Do not overlook these things. A lot of times we overlook circumstances, we overlook situations, we overlook behavior because we're like, oh, you know what, they're great, or I like them already, and let's see where you can't deal with what you're looking at right now, and you continue onwards. I just want you to be paying attention. Where it ended this young brother up is him cheating, right? And where for me, it ended up for me was I ended up in a situation where the person was abusing me. Why? Because you overlook these scenarios and situations. In other instances, I got cheated on. In other instances, I moved mad myself. So when you ignore those red flags, when you ignore those obvious signs that are telling you, this might not be it, I think you need to really be listening. Yeah. I really want to implore people, please listen, because where he's about to go down to is a rabbit hole. Okay, but it starts at the very beginning. And that's why I said that the beginning will tell you a lot about the ending. Of course, people can make a beautiful story and make it a better ending than it was at the beginning. But how often does that happen? How often does a great story start off really poorly in a relationship wise and gets really great? How often do you hear that? It's a rarity. It's an anomaly. It's an outlier. Don't become part of that group that says that it doesn't apply to me.
Would you consider that young?
No.
Okay.
Nuh-uh. 28, she was 32. So I felt like the age was great, but when you get...
Hold on a minute. He was 28, she was 32. That's already a power dynamic, age-wise. That's already a power dynamic. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm starting also to learn, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to learn that, age has a huge factor oftentimes in terms of experience, wisdom, intelligence sometimes. Like at 24, I thought I knew it all. At 22, I thought I knew it all. At 20, I thought I knew it all. All right. I thought I knew it all. At those ages, I thought I knew it all. And had I dated a woman who was 25 while I was 20, she would have ruined me. As much as I thought I knew it all, when I got to 25, I realized I didn't know it all. Right? So age really does play a factor because oftentimes experience has played into it. Those extra 5 years can be a lot. So especially when a man is also dating a woman that's older, my friend, the games that women play, I know women out here be like, we don't play games. Yes, y'all do. Okay, just like men play games. The games that women play as they get older, and as they shouldn't get as they're older. If there's an age gap between yourself and that older woman, that game is a bit different for you. Okay, that game's a little bit different for you. All right. So even though you're 28 and she's 32, it may not seem like a big gap. Those extra 4 years, can make a huge difference in terms of emotional intelligence, maturity, financial situations, in terms of where we're looking at in terms of timescales. Does she want a kid straight away? Do you want to, like, that can change a whole lot of dynamics in a relationship. Okay. I mean, it's not necessarily a big problem. It's just something I just noticed.
Married you, I ain't gonna say you, me. I thought that, we all evolve, we all change. So certain things that you may say, this person I don't particularly care for at this time, they may grow out of it. Some may change. Life changes. Some of the things that you disliked, the like before, they change in time. And so I did that with my marriage, not realizing with the mindset that I have now that who you are, who I choose to marry now. Didn't know exotic dancer when I married you. Now you want to go out, live this life now where I want to go embrace something you've always wanted at 45 years old. Now you want to be a stripper. Now we didn't talk about that.
Right.
But if you're marrying somebody based upon who they are now, then when they decide to change in whichever direction they go, then you can always say, you know what, I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
But still been married for better or for worse, for richer, for poor, through sickness and in health. After breaking down what those marriage vows really mean, then now I have this this ideology now of understanding what those vows truly mean. And so based on those vows, I still didn't have a grounds to divorce her. It was just that in the mindset that I had, it was like, I don't want to feel like this any longer. So let me go ahead and do something different.
So you filed for divorce. Was that against, did she know that was coming, or was she blindsided?
She knew, because I told her before. And then the other part, I didn't like who I became. I actually became that which I despised, which was an habitual cheater. So then
you know what? Sorry, I even missed the part where I didn't get to say in between that when he said, I'll go back to, I have to go back to it a bit. But, I think this is also a really interesting thing as well, that now he's become, like he said, now I've become someone I didn't think I was going to become, right? And that's what happens when you commit treason against yourself, okay? That often happens when you commit treason against yourself. Treason against yourself is betraying your kingdom and betraying your domain and the people within it. And the people are your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your values, your attitudes. Do not betray your subjects, okay? If you betray your subjects, you've betrayed your kingdom and you've given your kingdom away. The trouble is that a lot of people betray their kingdom. You know for sure that the person trying to enter your kingdom doesn't align with the values and the attitudes that you hold, okay? And when you ignore them, what tends to happen is that you betray yourself. And what happens is there's a siege. There's a siege, right? And now there's a takeover and there's a revolt. And as a revolt happens, blood is shed. And it's like, you don't want to betray yourself in these instances when it comes to dating. If that means staying single, stay single. Because trying to take a risk on someone that you personally, you're like, I don't know if it's really going to work for me. Then my friend, honestly, you need to get out. Get out. Don't try to make it work, because there's a rabbit hole coming. Now he doesn't like the person he's become. It's because now you're under siege. Now you're under revolt. Now you're under revolution. Now you're under attack. You feel like you have to change in order to fight this battle. And that's what happens a lot of times with people in relationships. They end up changing, trying to meet the terrain and the environment they're in. Now, of course, people can do some stupid stuff during the course of a relationship that might change a person. But it wasn't necessarily the woman was doing stupid stuff. This was her from the very beginning. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's listen.
I started stepping outside of my marriage, looking for that which I desired internally, and started looking for it externally. Now I don't even like who I became. So then I start going through therapy, and then I start going through therapy and counseling in the marriage. And then I start saying, okay, who is this guy? I don't like this guy. Let's get healed from some of this brokenness that has followed you throughout life. Then I go through that healing process. Now this new form of terrorists really don't like what the marriage is. Right. Because it's crazy, because your healed version may not like what your broken version was attracted to. And so that's the danger when you are getting married and you're broken. Yes. That's why I say healed people need to get married.
Right.
Absolutely critical point there. You guys hear me say it all the time. Healed people need to date healed people. Broken people, when they date, you know what it look like. Okay, definitely know what it look like. Some of the discussions here, definitely a Christian sheep, wolf in sheep. I wouldn't say that. I think I really do believe this is not the case. I think people can make mistakes. And he made that during the course of marriage. I look, if a woman did it, I'll be saying the exact same thing. You know what, fam? Like, it doesn't change her Christianity. It doesn't change her faith. Now, in terms of being a good partner, yeah, maybe not marry them. But in terms of their faith, I can't judge that as to be not being a good faith. What I would say is, though, you know, I think he's explaining his side of the story. And I think, you know, I like the way he does it, because it's very similar to the way I do it, which is I try to cover the other person, not trying to expose them too much. But I want to talk about how I did what I did. It's only when there's certain things that really need to be explained about what the other person did that's important. But a lot of times it's less about what other people do and more about what you do. And I think him explaining this is really important. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Was he a bit arrogant in his testimony? Yeah. Yeah. Because I keep saying that what you have to understand about someone like him is, and I can read it very well because I have a similar trait, is his cheating was not, I'm an alpha male cheating. His cheating was very calculated. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't want to go too deep in this because this is for another video, but the reason why it sounds arrogant is because it is arrogant. In an aspect, it is arrogant. And it's because he strategizes cheating. That's how I feel anyway. It might not be true per se, but I feel the reason why he's so arrogant is the reason why it sounds so arrogant is because he strategizes cheating. Not that he's not remorseful. It's the fact that he strategizes cheating. And when you strategize things, you want to be praised for how good you are. Sometimes the praise is from yourself, right? That's why I said that every human's got a weakness. Intellectual folk have an ego weakness. People who are intellects have an ego weakness. Their ego bypasses, you know, and presents itself in similar situations like this, right? So yes, I believe he's sharing, you know, his thoughts. I believe he's sharing his thoughts and sharing his ideas. But when it comes to his own personal testimony, I'm gonna tell you this now. When you guys listen to my podcast, you probably hear the same energy. I don't like to. Someone said, "Don't be too honest." I'm like, I will be as honest as I can be because I personally don't want nothing to be held against me. Someone to say, "Oh my God," like he didn't say that. No, I'm gonna tell you the truth. When you hear my podcast, when I explain certain situations, you'll hear how dark it is. Because when you're somebody who intellectualizes everything and you have self-awareness, the problem with self-awareness is that you're able to analyze every angle. And that comes off conceited and cold. And it comes off dark. Because you're like, wait, hold on a minute. Like, the way that you're kind of talking about this, bro, like it sounds like, you know, like you was enjoying it. It's like, but the truth is, you know, in the motive situation, it was arrogant. It was deceptive. It was sneaky. It was you trying to be strategizing your cheating. But then again, like I said, maybe again, fair enough. Maybe he didn't hear the remorse from his testimony. To be fair, someone said the same thing to me. I'll be honest with you. Someone said the same thing. The reason why I said that is because someone said the same thing to me. Someone said when I said about what happened to what I did to certain females in the past, I don't sound remorseful. And I said, yeah, because it's done. It's happened. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And that's what I said about there's an arrogance that comes behind your intelligence. There's a blind spot. It's a blind spot he has, that his arrogance, he doesn't realize. Maybe he does realize and he doesn't know, but there's an arrogance that's hidden behind your intelligence. There's an arrogance that's hidden behind you plotting and planning. There's an arrogance behind you. That's what makes you a supervillain. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, I get what you guys are saying. That's why I said that I would agree with the arrogance aspect. I can understand that arrogance piece because it is arrogant in the way he's kind of saying it as well.
I need to marry a healed person. That healed person needs to marry me. And now we have a healthy foundation. But if I'm broken and I married a healed person, I'm into breaking that healed person. And then when I finally get healed, then I was like, I never liked them first. It's crazy.
But could someone have told you back then that you were broken? Did you think that you were broken at 28 when you got married?
No, and we didn't even have that terminology back then. So you have to think about mental health became popular now in the culture. You hear more African Americans embracing therapy, but you know the white counterparts was already doing that. But now that's become common. It's become acceptable. It's no longer taboo. So if somebody told me to go, even marriage counseling was a little taboo, because even when she was like, hey, let's go to marriage counseling, which we did, I was kind of like, I don't need nobody in my business. You know what I'm saying? Like what y'all see now ain't who I used to be. I would never be sharing my business with people. You know, I'm like, nobody need to know. And I used to always say, those people who are marriage counselors, you know, they ain't dealing with what we dealing with. And I bet you if they was dealing with what we dealing with, they wouldn't be dealing with it. You know, I would always try to minimize the expertise. And
right. You didn't want to take accountability.
At all.
Okay, so we'll talk about accountability in a minute, but you were a habitual cheater.
Yes.
Can you talk us through the mind of a habitual cheater? Of course, you can't speak for.
Now, pause. This is where it's important. Okay. In order to explain the mind of an habitual cheater, this is where it gets techie. Because there is darkness upon darkness upon darkness. Right? There is darkness in this. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I'm saying, Lisa. I think that's how I feel about it as well. But I also understand other people's point of view that he may not have got it right. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why people might feel like he's arrogant in that respect as well. But I think, like, you know, he's moved on. It's like, it's happened, it's done, like, it is what it is, kind of thing. Mr. Diaz says, now he's blaming the community for not being healed. It's your choice. A counselor is not the only one who can help with your healing. Yeah, no. I think what he's saying is, I think he's just explaining that his brokenness led him there. His brokenness led him to the wife that he was with. His brokenness also was what was instructing the movement. It doesn't give him an excuse to why he did what he did. I think, you know, it is. Someone said he's a sexual abuse. I mean, no, I wouldn't go that far. I think when we talk about people being broken, we're talking about the operating system they use. We're talking about the way they view the world. That's what we mean by broken. It's not an excuse. It's just it's another word that we use. It's not necessarily, we haven't found an effective word as of yet in this generation where it explains the state of mind that a lot of people are in, which is operating from a very bad operating system. If you're operating from a very bad operating system, this is a problem. Now, of course, he still has to make a choice. And if he chooses to do wrong, he has to take the consequences with it. You know, but that's why I said to you, when you explain the darkness of why someone cheats, it is never pretty. There is no pretty answer or pretty energy or pretty way you can put this that's going to make it sound great. When someone cheats, there is a darkness in that, because a person puts themselves above everything else and chooses selfishness in that moment, no matter what excuse they bring. You know what I mean? But I hear what you guys are saying. I'm trying to take it in, you know. Infidelity is a form of sexual abuse according to the National Domestic Violence Association. Oh, if that's what they say, innit? Do you know what I mean? I don't think this is the case in this situation. I don't think he's using it as a way to abuse her. But I hear what you're saying too. I'm not going to disagree per se. I can agree with that standpoint as well. All right, cool.
All habitual cheaters, but can you speak
for
you, and what that looked like for you? What was the thought process from the beginning to?
So the very first part was a part that was the most closest to God in my cheating, meaning that when I stepped outside my marriage, I was the type of guy that before I got married, I would come against any guy that was in my circle that would cheat on their wives, and they would brag about it. I got this woman. I'm like, I can't believe you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. And I would go off on them. So I was that dude.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I was like, no, why would you get married if you're gonna cheat? Just stay single.
And
I love this point too, right? I love this point. Do you know what I love about this point? Don't worry, we're working on it. I love this point that he made about he used to be the guy that was coming against all the other guys. Let me be very frank with you. Yeah? I was also the guy that was coming against my boys saying they shouldn't cheat. I mean, to be honest, I cheated once, and it was like I cheated once. I literally cheated once. So like it was not like a serial amount of cheating. But in terms of obviously playing, because the same energy is carried in playing women or having multiple women at one point in time. It's the same kind of energy, just that there's an extra additive part where you are faithful to someone. But what he said about coming against all his boys like that, I was one of those guys too. I would always come against my boys, and I still would come against my boys right now, because why cheat when you can just step out, when you can just leave the relationship? But the intensity behind that, okay, it's a conversation that men usually have with themselves, which is why a lot of men don't want to check other men. It's because your time is coming. Your time could be coming. Your time where you move mad could be coming, and you may need grace. This is the problem with men. All right. that they know that their time could be coming. I could do the exact same thing and I'll need grace. But if I attack you hard, I don't get it. Now, he was one of those people that was attacking hard, not knowing that behind that wanted to attack hard, part of him also probably wanted to do what they wanted to do. Part of him probably wanted to be like they were being. Probably some part of him was also a darkness within himself was also that, you know what? I wish I could do what they did. You know what I mean? With the confidence they have. You know what I mean? I remember a time when I remember a time when I was obviously with my guys, and I remember when I used to roll with them, they used to move mad and just, you know, might cheat on a girl or whatever, or move different with another girl. And I'll tell them, guys, come on, man, like that's not what we should be on. We shouldn't be on those things. You know, I'm faithful to my. But the more time I spent with them, the more the darkness within me wanted to get out. Yeah, so not them, right? Not them, okay. But it is a problem within myself. Like I wanted to be them, but I couldn't be them because I didn't have the balls to be them. That's not how I was reared. So there's a conflict within myself, and then you're doing little bits here and there. Maybe you might take a girl's number. Maybe you'll dance with a girl this time. Maybe you might even get a bit too close, too handsy. Maybe a girl will touch you somewhere she shouldn't touch you. I remember a time I was mad. Like I remember a time when I went to a club and I was out and about, and this girl came up to me and she was dancing with me, and I could see she's into me, and I'm like, all right, cool, we'll vibe in it, and then literally she comes and gets closer and closer, and I know she wants to kiss me, and I don't move. I'm like, today I'm gonna move mad. You know what I mean? Today I'm gonna move mad. So I ended up lipsing her. And when I went back to my girl the next day, I said, oh, baby, I was out and about and this random girl just kissed me like on a matting. Like I had to pull away. Like I lied. I didn't pull away. I didn't do anything. I literally kissed this girl. Like, or at least the girl leaned into me and then I didn't pull away. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we have our moments where we move mad. Of course, you know, those things are not great. But all in all, the darkness within that, the darkness within this aspect is that you compartmentalize your guilt and your guilt in this aspect, because depending on how you view the behavior, and that's what's scariest. That's what leads men down that road. But anyway, let me not say too much. This is not the right video for this.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah. So then I get married, and one guy told me, you'll never understand what marriage really feels like and what I'm dealing with unless you get married. I know if I get married, I'm gonna cheat on my wife. I know I ain't gonna do that, because in my mind I was like, I will have sex bountiful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why I'm gonna go step out? I wasn't the type of guy that needed variety. I just needed frequency. Okay. So I don't need to have all these different women. I did that in my single life. I just said, I wanted frequency. Give me my one woman. We're going to love each other. We're going to make love to each other. We're going to experience the highest form of love making with each other. Let's have fun. But when that wasn't available, then I started saying, dang it, you know, well, what should I do? So I remember I would literally go into the shower and I would masturbate. So I said, I don't want my wife to feel like she's inadequate in any way. So even though I would talk about, you know, let's have sex or whatnot, and she'd be like, oh, so I forget it. I'll just masturbate. Maybe I have an unhealthy viewpoint of sex because she wasn't that sexually active when she was before we got married.
Yeah, and you was?
And I was. Okay. You know, so she was like, I don't have that experience that you have, and you know, there it is. So then I get married, so I was like, maybe I'm just dirty. I'm just unclean. I'm just what is this? I just want to have sex like a few times a week, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I said, forget it. I'll just masturbate. So I started masturbating.
Okay, this is a big thing, right? And I said this to somebody. I said, listen, Christian, no Christian, we're going to talk about this. If me and a girl are talking, I'm going to be honest with you. This is why I personally couldn't marry a virgin. This is me just saying it, okay? I'm just saying, because you don't know your level. I don't know. You don't know how, you know, you don't know your level. I know my level now. So like now, you know, I think for me, the situation will be like, listen, and that's what I said about having sexual intimacy and conversations. These are a part of the sexual intimacy, that conversations that you can be having before you get married, because I'm just going to be honest with you, I like it a few times a week. You understand? So I need at least a few times a week at least initially. Okay, I'm sure we're going to slow down. So if you tell me you can't keep up with a few times a week, that's okay. We shouldn't have to lie to each other. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be like, listen, babe, if that's not you, let's not lie to another. Do you know what I mean? I don't care how great we're gonna be, but that's gonna be an issue later in down the line. You know what I mean? Right? So I appreciate you and I love you, but you know what? Maybe this isn't a relationship for me, because you said you can do it once a week. And I know I'm not going to be satisfied with once a week. So honest, open-ended conversation around about our sex lives. Now, if you're virgins, this isn't really a bigger issue for you, because you guys, you guys can't really, you guys maybe have a different idea of things because you haven't necessarily gone there. If you're a virgin, you haven't gone there. But if you yourself, um, you know, if you yourself, you've done it a few times, then your mindset's completely different to someone who isn't. Someone said some men can't control their sexual urges. I keep saying this, it's sexual urge is not the issue. The issue is you put yourself in places that you're going to fall. Like Joseph, like the part of the story that they never tell us about Joseph and Potiphar is Joseph. It's not like he probably didn't have no feelings for Potiphar. When I say no feelings, in terms of, it's not like nothing in his body responded to Potiphar. It's not like he found her unattractive or ugly. It's the fact that he didn't want to sin against God, and so he ran, right? And that's a similar state where people need to put themselves in. It's more of a case of, you can't control your sexual urge. You're not supposed to control your sexual urge. What you need to control is not putting yourself in places that your sexual urge will be able to run riot with you. Like, discipline should start before you get to that place. You know what I mean? Like, that's the issue. So a lot of times people allow themselves to get into a place, a time where their sexual urge can run riot. Your sexual urge is for your wife, it's for your partner. Your sexual urge can't go. Your lust cannot go. It's not going to go. I say lust, but I should say your desire for sex is not going to go. It's not going anywhere, guys. Okay? All right? It's not going anywhere. I'm so sorry. I know it sounds great. Okay, I know it sounds amazing that, control your sexual urge. No, you need to control your body. Your body, if you put yourself in your body and mind, your mind and your body, don't allow your body to be in a place where it can now move mad. Don't do it. And I was saying to a friend, when I was in university, I had a girlfriend in the 3 years that I was at university. And the one rule I had was never stay alone with a girl one-on-one. Because I know me. I'm going to do some madness. It won't take long. Sorry. It won't take long. Joseph, I can't do Joseph. Okay? I can't, I can't do Joseph. You know what I mean? So for me, I can't do that, right? So I remember there was only one situation I remember in university where I was with 2 other girls in the room. And when one of the girls left, I said to the girl, I got to go. She was like, why? She's like, nah, I got to go. I've got a rule. A rule is, once I got a girlfriend, I cannot be one-on-one with a girl. So sorry. Gotta get out of here. She's like, oh, okay. Okay, respect it. And I said, yeah. In my head, I was like, please tell me to stay. But I said, I got to go. But in my head, I'm like, please tell me to stay. But then that voice in my head that's saying to me to stay is the one that's going to move mad later on, right? And I know if I had cheated then, I'm the kind of cheater that you will never find out. And that's what's scary about it. Because I'm going to strategize. Because that's how I roll in my life. It's always ninja. So I didn't want to give myself an opportunity. I said I got to go. When the girl left, I left with her. I didn't want no trouble. You know what I mean? So the sexual urge is always going to be there. It's not going to go. It is you putting yourself in a situation. Okay? It's you putting yourself in a situation that's going to allow yourself the opportunity to move mad. Because that urge is going to be there. What? You think your colleagues are not buff? Your colleagues are buff. Okay? Someone said they always get found out, Kojo. Not with me, you don't. Sorry. You know what I mean? But you know that someone said it always get. You're right, they will actually get found out. What's done in the darkness will come to light, guys. But no, in all honesty, but you put yourself in a situation, put yourself in a situation, you're just gonna roll for it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't do it. Like, don't put yourself in a situation, because the urge is there. It's a good urge. It's honestly a good urge to have sex, to want to have sex. It's a good urge. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. So it's just that, you should know your body is responding. Respond accordingly. Okay. If it's getting hot, if you're feeling hot down there, you got to. It might mean leave the room. Okay, because a person's making you feel hot. That's the simple truth. Okay. No. I'm a Cancer. I'm a Cancer. I'm a Cancer, not a Scorpio. All right, let's play more.
I remember one day I had masturbated and I ended up leaving this lubrication in the shower. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to see it. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm embarrassed. And she saw it and didn't say nothing. And I was like, so how'd you feel about that? And she was like, oh, take care of yourself. And then that hurt. And I was like, you tell me I'm a grown man and I got to beat my meat? Like, really? Like,
yo, that would hurt me too, man. If my wife said to me, listen, take care of yourself, I'd be like, first of all, I don't even want to be beating my meat. Okay. If I've got you, I don't want to be beating my meat. That don't make no sense. Okay. I don't like beating my meat anyway. So that's enough as it is. But just the fact that in a marriage too, you're also beating the meat in your marriage. That's a tight one there, bro. Like, I don't want to be in that situation. Take care of yourself. Yeah. And you see me, the way that words affect me, that would hurt. That would hurt me. You know what I mean? That moment, So yeah, for me, that would be painful in that moment.
I was gonna write a book called "I Started Masturbating Once I Got Married." I would have written that book when I got married.
And is that true?
Yes, I never masturbated a day in my life until I got married. Never until I got married. So I was never.
Damn, that woman forced him into masturbation, guys. Okay, she forced him into masturbation. Okay, see what you ladies do to us. Now I'm playing, but evidently, I think, my God, listen, starvation in a marriage. This is why the Bible says, husband and wife, do not deprive each other, except it be for the fact that you guys are, you've chosen to do this for like prayer and fasting, whatever. But do not deprive each other. The reason why, because you allow the devil to get in. And this is one aspect, not just sexually, but mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Don't deprive each other of that intimacy. Don't allow yourself not to be intimate with one another in all aspects, not just sex, in all aspects. In all aspects. So, for me, it's, I'm not about it. Okay. I'm not about it, but I understand. Someone said deprived. He was having sex in his marriage. He just wanted it every day. That's not realistic. Well, you say it's not realistic. I don't know if he didn't say every day. He said a couple times a week. I personally don't want it every day. Personally, listen. After the second or third day, I need a rest period. Just gonna be honest with you guys. I've lived a life. I can tell you. I mean, some of us still living a life, but I've lived a life, and and after the third day, I need a rest. Yeah, after the third day, I need a rest. Okay, I need a rest because my equipment is feeling it. If I keep, ejaculating, I'm my body's gonna feel it. So I'm gonna have to take some breaks. So we're gonna need some day breaks in there, 1 or 2 days, just to refresh myself. You know what I mean? Like, So for me, I'm gonna need a couple of days break in between, but maybe not every single day, but I need a break in between. But yeah, I need a couple times a week. What you talking about? If I'm still young, friendly, and fit, baby, a couple times a week. I don't just need it just because it feels good. I need it for an ego boost because I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna tell you this straight. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I need it for an ego boost too because I know what I'm doing. So when I know that you get yours, I get excited too. You know what I'm saying? So I need that a couple times a week. It's a good boost. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Someone said we need to hear from her. Well, yeah, but she's not going to come out and say anything because she's quite private. So, what if your wife physically can't have sex? Then what? Y'all don't think if the sickness and the health part generates the trick? Can I be honest with you? I don't want this problem. I just want to say it straight. I don't want that problem. I don't want it. I don't want this problem. Just going to say it now. Like, if God gives you that one in the bucket, I'm going to pick it up and put it back in the bucket. I don't want that problem. Let's have something else. Yeah? Let's have communication issues. Why does mine have to be the most craziest one? You know what I mean? You're like, yo, nah, I don't want that problem. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I don't want that problem. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just gonna say it now. You know, I can't say what will happen in the future. Just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna have to find a way of. Listen, there's no way I'm gonna be in a marriage and go 5-10 years without sex. Like it's madness. It's madness. It's easy to say now, yeah, I'll be a faithful husband. I think it's really easy to say that. But I'm just thinking to myself, 5-10 years. Can't have sex. I pray to God that our emotional and mental intimacy is so strong, I don't think about it. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. As it's easy to say right now, I'm still gonna love you. I'm saying it's so easy to say, I'm just not gonna, you know what I mean? Like 10 years of not having sex when you've had sex and been in a marriage as well, like that is a difficult way. I'm just being very honest with you. I just don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just not gonna go and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know personally. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Just gonna be honest with you. All right. Just saying. You know what I mean? And when she's sick, how sick are we talking about here? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's maybe there's other things we can do. You know what I mean? Maybe there's other things you can do. Okay, because our brother's got needs. Okay, our brother's got needs. All right. If we're like 50, it might be different by then. When you're 50, 60, it might not be as the same. You know what I mean? When you're 50, 60, it might not be the same. Do you know what I'm saying? It might be different. But when you're in your early 30s, it's tough. It's tough. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm just saying it's just tough. I'm just saying it's tough. I'm just saying it is tough. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's difficult. Okay. That's what I'm saying. See, Shannon D, this is what I'm trying to say. You see, 7 to 9 months military deployments. See, maybe I could. It's not my life. I can't do that. It's not my life. I couldn't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not my life. I just couldn't do that. Someone said, if something happened where you wouldn't perform anymore, could you give her a pass to see someone else? Now, you're damn right, no, I could not give her a pass. And I'm not asking for a pass either. I'm not asking for a pass. Okay? I'm not asking for a pass. I'm just saying, I don't know how well I will be able to cope with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I don't know how well I can cope with that. Like, let's just be real. Let's just be real. I don't know how well I can cope with that. Okay? I really don't. Sex is a really important part of the chemistry. But like I said, maybe when I'm 50, 60, by then it's a different story. But if I'm still in my youth, I have strength. I'm still a stallion. Can still give good, then it's difficult. It's more difficult. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's just more difficult. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I said, I hope that's not my problem. You know what I mean? I hope that's not my problem. What should the wife do when the prostate gives out and things don't stand up like they used to? She needs to buy him Viagra. That's what she needs to do. Needs to buy him Viagra. Yeah. But Viagra. And Viagra again. Okay. All right. He needs some Viagra. It's just, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. Viagra. Okay. Viagra. It's the honest truth. Okay. Yeah. Someone asked me a question. Are you staying now if you don't mind me asking? No comment, Your Honor. All right, so let's go to the next question. Your sex drive will change over time. Don't worry. You're absolutely right. Listen, and that's what I said. As you get older, as you get older, yeah, it's different. You know, obviously, you know, like I said, when you get older, it's slightly different. You know what I mean? I'm talking from a blind spot. You know, I'm only 31. It's a blind spot. You know what I mean? I'm still relatively young, and I think I'm thinking in a young man's mindset. You know what I mean? But as you get older, you have more wisdom and you have more understanding. And I think sometimes you can speak from a place of where I'm now may not be where I speak from in the next 3 to 4 years. And also where I am now may not be where I'm speaking from when I'm married. By the grace of God, should I ever have that? You know. Mhm, mm. Yeah. So yes, absolutely right, Edna. Absolutely right. You've not lied. You've not lied. Let's play a bit more of the clip. Sorry, I got
I'm a guy that watched porn. I never did that stuff. I never was masturbating as a little kid. I just never did. So what happened was I said, wow, okay. So then I could no longer, at the time, I would think about my wife when I masturbated. And then I stopped thinking about her because now I was hurt by her. So then I couldn't even get erect thinking about her when I masturbated. So then what I do, called on an old memory. So I called on an old memory of a girl that I used to mess around with. I could masturbate. Then fast forward about a couple of months later, I go to this fashion show. Who do I see? I done manifested this woman back into my life. And she's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And I'm like, I'm feeling kind of guilty. I'm like, if you knew the thoughts I had with you earlier this morning. So then I was like, okay, this is weird. We exchanged numbers. Her number had changed. My number was still the same. And we reconnected. Went to her house one day and things, she started reminiscing. You remember we used to do this? You remember over there at the castle? We did this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dang, yeah, I remember that. And it got a little heated. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be that dude. Left. But then curiosity killed the cat. And I had to come back and kill the cat. So I came back. About a week later, and the next day, when the conversation happened, things got heated, boom, we had sex. I got in the car. I've never felt this bad in my entire life. I literally got sick in my stomach.
Yeah, listen, he's experienced. Let me tell you something, right? First time you ever cheat, you do feel sick to your stomach. You do. You feel sick to your stomach. You feel disgusting. You feel dirty. You feel bad. The truth is, after that first one, it's downhill from there. The guilt just goes away. The guilt just melts away after that first time. I'll be honest with you. It's like committing sin. It's like you continue to commit sin. It just goes away, the guilt. I'm telling you this now. You know, it will go away. So, like, in all honesty, you know, you'll see that you will find yourself in a very dark place. Because after the first time, you do feel that guilt, you feel that anger, you feel that sickness, you feel like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm a horrible person. It don't take long.
Throw up. I was driving home. I was getting woozy. I was scared. I was like, what if I die on the way home? What if I die on the way home? And she finds out that I was leaving this girl's house. And now at my funeral, there's all this crazy stuff going on. And he was cheated. And she stand up there and say, he was a cheat anyway. Don't cry. He was a cheat. Like I had all this thought. Like sin ain't peaceful at all. You know, I was like, oh my God. See, my background is theater. So I was like, oh God, this is terrible. I'm that dude. So I go home. I walk in there and just shame is covering me. In the Bible, it says when Adam and Eve knew that they were naked, and they hid. And so I'm walking in the house and I feel like she could just see my sin. And the first thing you do when you get in the house, what? Go take a shower because you want to wash the sin off as if it's going to take the stain away. And I took a shower and I was like, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to do this. It's one time only. I'll take it to my grave. I ain't doing it no more. But because the brokenness hadn't been healed in me, then I go back and do it again. And then I cheat with her again. And then I have this affair with this particular woman. And then I go, hold on. This makes it bad if I'm just sleeping with this one person because it's like she's taking the place of my wife. So let's minimize her experience in my life. Let's bring somebody else. Let's start having sex with somebody else because I don't want to feel like I just like this. She can't be that important. So let me find somebody else. And then I let her know that I ain't messing around with nobody. Like I'm just messing with her. So now I'm messing with a couple of girls. And then it just trickles and trickles and trickles.
Did the first girl knew that you was married?
Oh, 100%. She was around before I got married.
Man said the girl knew I was married. And this is why I said, like, certain people, when I get married, even when I get into a relationship, I cut them off. And they'll be like, people will ask me, like, Coach, why'd you cut all the girls? This reason why? This is the reason why I cut them off. I cut them off because I don't want to give myself even a chance. Like, I take cheating very seriously. Like, I've seen how it can play a havoc in families, isn't it? I've seen it up close, right? So I know what it does. So I don't want to even give. That's why I said certain people around me, deaded. You know, deaded. I beat off them. You know what I mean? I just got to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Because yeah, I can't play that game. Yeah, I can't play that game. You know what I mean? I can't. Like let me focus more of my energy into trying to fix a relationship than trying to, you know, adhere to my ego and my feelings right now in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Nah, man. It's you know, it's yeah, for me it's too much. I think women are great, but if you know that there's an attraction there and there's a vibe there, I don't need you anywhere close to me. I know exactly what's going to happen. And I am the person that once I make a decision to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I take the whole store. Because I'm like, if I stole once, why not just steal the whole store? It don't make no sense. They're all the same. Like if I steal once, I still stole. I'm still a thief. Now let me steal the whole store. That's why I said, nah, I don't want to give myself that chance. I'm a take the whole thing. I'm gonna take the whole thing. You know what I mean? You know, Natasha Walker said, can you hang around with friends who cheat? I can hang around them. Can they be my close boys? Not necessarily. No, I don't rock with that. My boys have known this already. I said this to them as well. Listen, if you're going to cheat on your wives, just know this. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, because me, I'll snitch. Yeah, I'm somehow going to end up snitching by mistake. Like I don't want that pressure. I don't want to look at your partner's eye. You know what I'm saying? Like unless you're telling me you cheated and you're going to tell your wife you've cheated, then you can tell me. But if you know you're about to tell me and then you want to draft me into your madness, let's not do that. Okay, let's not do that. Don't do that with me, please. Let's not do that. I'm not about that life. You know, I want to encourage you. If you're married, I want to encourage you to do better. I want to encourage you to live your life. You know what I mean? And if you're single and that's what you want to do, you want to move mad, you move mad. You're single. But if you're in a relationship, please, I want you to be faithful in your relationship or quit the relationship. Why are we here doing those kind of things? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't do that. You know, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, she knew we messed around before we got married. And before I got married, she was like, hey, she was trying to stop me from getting married. And I was like, that's not going to happen.
So when you were courting your wife, you were still seeing this girl?
Well, I knew of her. I mean, we're still like associating with each other, but we wasn't like sleeping with each other throughout the whole time. So we did at the beginning, which my ex-wife knew about that.
So you got with your ex-wife?
Yes.
And in the dating stage, you were still messing with this girl?
Yes.
Right.
At the beginning stages of our
So do you feel like this?
Okay. So this is crazy, right? He said at the beginning stage of dating his wife, right, he was still sleeping with other women. Here's my thing. And this is why I get annoyed at these things. I say this, right? When I'm single, I'm single. Right? When I'm single, I'm single. And this is why I say this word dating, I don't like it. I hate the word dating because it's a very innocuous space to be in. Right? A very innocuous space to be in. If I'm dating you, if I'm dating you, trust and believe, we've had mad conversations before this. I don't date you as in, oh, let's go out and date and see what. No. If I'm dating you or going out and seeing places, I've already calculated. We've had conversations. I know your intentions. You know my intentions. I'm already sold. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this is why I don't do this whole dating field. I'm trying to get If I'm trying to get to know you, I'm trying to get to know you. It's not dating. We're just being cool. We're going places. Maybe we'll go out different places, whatever. But I'm not dating at that point. Because why is it at that point I'm dating you and still I'm having other women on the go? No. Why am I dating you and having other people on the go? Makes no sense to me. How can I really give you the full attention that you need and the full attention that I need to make a sensible decision? Because I'm also very much aware that I have a blind spot, a major one. I've got the counselor spirit in me. So I attract people that want to be counseled, but I have to be very careful that those who want to be counseled are not the people that also I'm going to marry. Got to be very, very careful. So if I'm having sex and doing madness over here, or even just entertaining the nonsense over here, I'm putting myself in very deep trouble. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, if I want to be dating, that actual dating part, I'm speaking to you, I'm talking to you, I'm getting to know you very, very well, and I've known very well. And if I say I'm dating you, it's because I'm already committed. It's not I'm dating. Let's see what's going on. I can't do that stuff. I'm sorry. It's just not me. I can't do that. So it said, wow, he was able to navigate between spiritually disassociating himself from his wife and mistress. It takes an androidly crafty mind to do that. I will tell you the truth. I'm no different to him. So I understand what you're saying. I am no different to him. I can split the two very quickly, which is oftentimes from an emotionally avoidant, dismissive attachment style. Your ability to detach very quickly from certain things, you detach the emotions from things very quickly, is evident. Like when I tell people, like when I counsel people, as soon as I finish the counseling session, I'm done. I don't think about them again. I'm gone into the next session. I do not think about you. I don't think about your situation. I'm done. It doesn't affect me because I don't think about you. Because the ability to detach from the situation, that's where you have a weakness. So that's why I said you have to be very careful about who you allow into your space, because you've got that issue, you've got that ability to detach. You can attach yourself very quickly to something else. It's just really, yeah, you have to know your weaknesses, man, which is why I'm saying to you, like, I don't play this game, man. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't play this game. Yeah. I can't do that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't do that. I can't do the whole dating and no. If you know, if I'm dating you, we're pretty much together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't do that whole stuff. So when we're talking, I don't care if you're doing your thing. You do your thing. I'm not gonna hold it against you. But for me, I can't. I'm so sorry. I just can't be doing that stuff.
This girl had a stronghold over you. Like there was.
Well, it was just this familiar spirit. It was just comfortable. It was like we just vibed on that level. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy. You know, it was just easy. We just enjoyed each other a whole lot.
So why did you marry her instead of your wife?
Because I didn't feel like she was marriage material.
What is marriage material?
That crazy?
No. What is marriage material?
For me, I wanted a woman like all the attributes that my ex-wife had, she didn't possess, and those are the things that I desired most.
I made a video.
It's a 20/80 rule.
I made a video on this saying why men lie about what they really want. So they will get the woman that looks good, that is good for the Christmas photo, I said, that looks good, fit the picture of a good wife, a perfect wife. But the dark side of themselves that they refuse to accept, and I find this a lot with Christian men, the dark side that they refuse to accept is what they actually desire and seek after. It may not be that person wholly, but there's that dark side that they haven't come to terms with, that actually I do desire this. Like they talk about a lady in the street and a freak in the streets or whatever, but like some men go so far, marry the opposite of what they actually desire.
And see, me, I'm not like that.
Oh, Chile. That's a bit wild, isn't it? Question was, why didn't you marry her? Let me be very frank with you. Some of you, in our minds, you're only gonna ever be sex. I'm so sorry. But I'm not sorry. I have to keep it real with you. Some of you, in our minds, you will never be anything more than sex to us. Right? I need you to understand this, because what people don't realize is we can connect with people in different ways, both men and women, right? So for men, there are categories we place women in when you meet them. More than likely, when you've met that person, the first few moments you meet them, oftentimes you place them in a category. Some women, you meet them, you say, do you know what? You are your wifey material for now. Some women, you meet them, you say, I'm not at that current level right now, but you're good enough, I think, for wifey. You're for later on, right? You're for later on. There are other women, when you meet them, you're like, do you know what? You're good enough to be a friend. I can't think of you in that light. There's some women you meet and you say, you're good, but you know what? I couldn't actually wifey you. Something that there's something that we don't really gel on properly, but do you know what? Our sex could be amazing. Or sex, you know what? We can have sex together. Or you like me enough, you like me too much, and I realize that, and I can just have sex with you, right? It's an easy win. Let's keep it a buck. Then there's another aspect where it's like, do you know what? Two people meet and you're like, do you know what? You're fire, I'm fire. I can't marry you. You can't marry me, but the sex is about to be absolute turn up, right? Sex is actually to be absolute turn up. So we can blend on that part. There are some people you meet them like, do you know what? We're going to be intellectual buddies. When we speak and we talk, we just intellectualize and we help each other sharpen up, right? Now, a lot of people, both men and women do this. The difference is whether you're conscious about whether you're doing it or not. This is the biggest part. Okay, the aspect is whether you're conscious about doing this. Ebony Noy said it's low vibrational thinking. It's not. It's not, it's explaining what all of us do, but we don't actually put it out there consciously, right? We don't consciously actually do this. A lot of people do, right? So when you meet somebody, for instance, right, and you start talking and the person goes, I'm not really interested like that. They've put you in a box, right? They've put you in a box. So for a lot of men, I should say, I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot of men, and including myself, I'm not gonna pick myself out of the box, including myself, we will categorize you. Someone said, that's problematic. My ex-husband saw me a wife material and didn't value it. He started hating all those qualities because he wanted that thought life. No, he didn't want the thought life. Again, this is the misconception. We don't want a thought life. We just want you more sexy. I'm gonna say it straight for you guys. Y'all want the truth from me? I'll give you the truth. No, we just want you more sexy. We don't want thoughts. Men don't want thoughts. We don't want hoes. Although there's some people that do. Right? Some of them that do. Right? We don't want that. We just want you more sexy. You don't carry enough sexual energy for us sometimes. So sometimes we just leave it there. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not that they want a thought. Honestly, Kate, listen, I'm telling you now, y'all can learn from, because I learn from players. I learn from players very well. Why do women want to go for players? And I take the very good aspects that they have and I bring them in. And you can learn a lot from the hoes because they have a certain energy that men vibrate to. You don't have to be one. You just have to take the good aspects of what they have and bring it in. So yes, men want the almost impossible task of you being ladylike, but still freaky. And the freakiness is not necessarily you bear it on Insta. That's not what these men are asking for. They're not asking for put your cheeks on Insta. I really don't like. I like it, but I don't like it. It's in like I don't want to wife that, but I like watching it. Do you know what I mean? Like I like seeing it, but I ain't trying to wife it. And people don't realize that. No, it's not for me. It really isn't for me. But for someone else, it might be. But for me, it's not. Right? I can see it and be like, oh, that girl got a body, or oh, the girl looking sexy. But that's not the girl that I'm drawn to. Do you know what I mean? Like necessarily, But yeah, no. So I would say that. So taking aspects of them. So for instance, like, and if I'll be very frank with you, like you meet certain women and you can talk and conversate, and the conversation is amazing. It's great. It's fun. It's vibes. Right? It's just good vibes. Right? But then it's the way that she just touches your shoulder, or the way that she rubs her hand across your belly, or maybe even the way that she hugs you. You can sense there's a little sensuality in there. You're like, oh. So she didn't have to have sex with you, but she always makes sure that there's a little edge, maybe to the way that she flows. You know what I mean? There's a little edge to the way that when you get close to it, there's a little edge of danger. You see, I learned this from players. Because you see, I was a guy that I'm too nice, I'm this and that. What you don't realize is you have no danger in you at all. You are a grass snake. And as much as women like safety without an aspect of danger is very boring. Safety without any aspect of danger is a very boring life. Do you know how I know? Be a Christian and you'll know. Be a Christian and you'll know. I'm telling you this now. Be a Christian and you'll find out how boring. When everything's going right and it goes wrong for a very long time, it's when it goes down that you're like, God, you are so amazing. I love you. We forget about God. Right? We forget about God. When it goes well and it goes well for a very long time, until some problem comes, we be getting into our own space. So I say that as a human being, without that aspect of danger, a little bit of danger in there, it spices things up a little bit. It just keeps you on your toes a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying go out all the way out to craziness, but just a little, you know, just a little something, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you guys, look, some women are just so good at it that and it's cartelling the line between being sensual, sexual, and just being overtly mad. Like, you know what I mean? If you can get that line where you're sensual, a little bit sexual, but you're not going over the top, that's where it's dangerous. You know, that's where men then start like, what is it about her? What is it about her? And this is exactly it. Let's be all honest, you know, let's be all honest. When we all saw Derek Jackson's wife, you weren't thinking sexy. You weren't thinking that. You weren't thinking, oh, you think she's just a good first lady. Good first lady. Okay, good first lady. That's the kind of energy you got from her. I'm not saying that's the reason why he did what he did, but I'm saying that's the energy you got from him. So he married somebody that was a good first lady. But you wanted first lady with freak. You sold yourself a dream. And it's also because the way you presented yourself. This is also another aspect that men have to take accountability for, because you presented yourself that way. Mr. Latourus R. Whitfield, right? You got a girl who you already knew from the very beginning was going to have sex very infrequently, because she told you, you admitted it, that in the beginning, she told you that she wasn't going to be as sexual as you were going to be, right? So my thing is, if you chose that girl, it's because that energy you were also bringing too. You were lying to yourself. And this is the aspect I'm saying to people. This is why, as Brittany Lee said, men lie to themselves. Stop lying to yourself. That's not the kind of woman you want. I don't want that holy, holy girl. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want the holy, holy girl. Okay? As for me, if you're too holy, that's great, but it's not for me. Okay? I need a little bit of freak in your Christianity. Okay, I need you to say Jesus, Jesus. Raise your hand. Pray shadabrekaba. Probably someone's going to say it's not official to say dongs. We're here, whatever. But I need the tongues and everything out. But then I need you to see me and desire me and want to tongue me down. Okay, I want tongues in the church, but I want you to tongue me down in the room. All right, I need both. Okay, I need both, and now I'm sweating. It's hot. It's really hot in UK right now. I'll tell you this now. It's really, really hot in UK. I need both. I'm sorry. Okay, I need you to open up the Bible and be able to quote this and say, Jesus, yeah, I need that. But when you close the book, I need you to look at me and want to jump on me. That I need both. Okay, I need that playful spirit. I need that sexual and sensual aspect to you as well. And if you're not comfortable with your body and you're not comfortable with doing that aspect of, if you're not comfortable with that particular your particular aspect of your life, then I shouldn't also make the mistake of going, because she just prays well and, you know, she loves Jesus, that's the woman for me. No, I want a freak. And I'm going to show you that I'm a freak too. So let's not lie to each other. You know what I mean? Let's not lie to each other. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Or you go and sell yourself a dream, and then you destroy a marriage which you want to build for the purpose of Christ, which you want to build for the purpose of the gospel, which you want to build for the purpose of showing what God is doing in both your lives, and then you know what I mean? You know, so you know it's you know. Natasha said, obviously, what if she's both and a man still cheat? Listen, can I be honest with you? You know, those men that we cheating in those moments, you know, you probably find out that they were mad before then, right? But also, this is only one aspect. Can they communicate well? Right? Can that man communicate well? So look, yes, you know what? That man may have a woman that is, you know, Christian and freaky, but can he even communicate? Is he good with can he express himself very well? You know, can he share his thoughts and his feelings? Because these are also aspects that lead to cheating. It's feeling unseen and unheard. You know what I'm saying? Has he done the work to understand where his weaknesses are and where his strengths are? You know what I mean? Like, without those other aspects as well, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how great the woman is. If he hasn't done the work as well within himself to say, I need to, when I feel a certain way, can I express myself? It's a very dangerous place to be. Inexpression leads to expressive behaviors. So inexpression verbally leads to physical expression. And that's where you end up. What happened to him? When he couldn't express the fact he wasn't getting enough sex, where did he go? Into action. Because the male ego is concerned with validation let me break down my notes out here. Let me break my notes for you guys since we're out here. So the male ego, okay, it requires action, attention, and recognition. The male ego requires recognition, attention, and action. Recognition, meaning the acknowledgement. In fact, I'll show you guys my screen. I just feel like, let me show you my screen. I'll just click off this for a sec, and I'll show you guys my screen so you guys can really look at it and see what I've done rather than reading it all. And it's like me just talking. You can kind of see the board as well. Okay, so this is my notes for you guys. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can read that. I'll have to make it slightly bigger so you guys can see it. All right. So, okay, so male ego. Okay, I put here male ego. If you guys can read it, yeah. So recognition, male ego, recognition, acknowledgement of something, existence, validity or legality. And I put in brackets, you want to be appreciated for the work, who they are. Oh, I need to kind of move it so you guys can see it. Who they are. A new woman will give recognition to a man, and it'll feel like you're completing a mission. These are my notes from Love Island, by the way, but I can bring them in here as well. So men want to be recognized for something. They want to be recognized for something, right? So as a woman, your respect for a man is recognizing who he is to you. When you say, babe, I just appreciate the fact that, you know what, you did this for me, or that you always take care of me, or, you know, you always look out for me, or you always bring breakfast for me. Those are recognition. A man wants that. Do not let me have another fan bigger than you. Do not let me have somebody else who is going to recognize me better than you. Okay. All right. This is what I'm saying. Now, a lot of people are dealing with broken men. They're a different story. Okay. All right. So that's different. Attention, notice taken of someone or something. Okay. The notice taken of someone or something, the regarding of someone or something as interesting or important. Okay. So paying attention to men is also very important. Right? The things that we like, doing, the things that we like talking about. Do you pay attention to those things? Again, I'm not saying that women don't do this. I'm just kind of giving you an example of what the male ego is concerned with. Okay. I'm just telling you about what the male ego is concerned with. All right. So we want to feel like we're being attentive to. Okay. We want to feel like we're being attended to. Okay. Action. The fact or process of doing something, okay, typically to achieve an aim. And this is where it happens. Most men who can't express themselves go into action, right? Most men who can't express themselves go into action. They will begin to describe, they will begin to behave, and they'll begin to act rather than having a conversation with you because they're afraid of being able to express themselves and being vulnerable. It's a problem. It's a big problem. It's a man problem. I'll be honest with you. It's a man problem. Right? Worth, sufficiently good, important, or interesting to justify a specified action, or deserving to be treated or regarded in, what's that say? Regarded in the way specified. So I like that. Deserving to be treated or regarded in the way specified. This is actually a big thing because deserving to be treated or regarded in a way specified, a lot of times, you know, with our male egos, the reason why a lot of men sometimes struggle is because we don't feel we're worth it. And the behavior that comes out is a negative behavior. So even though the woman could give me the love that I deserve, the woman can give me the love that I should value, I don't believe I'm worth that. When a lot of men don't have good value systems in terms of what they feel they're worth. They are concerned with recognition, because that's what they feel men are only good for, right? I'm only good for recognition. I'm only good for being recognized. You know what I mean? Right? So that's where their mindset goes to. But in terms, they don't realize that they haven't done the work in themselves internally about their worth. So when you don't realize what your worth is and someone gives you what you're worth, you actually reject the offer because you don't realize that's what you're worth. So that good love that you should be getting, that woman that stays with you, that loves you, that cares for you, John Gray. You in a situation? That's John Gray, right? A person that loves you, cares for you, appreciates you, giving you all the love and affection you require, but you don't know your own worth. So now when she gives you what you're worth, you reject it because you don't realize what you're worth. That's a problem. That's also true as well. The worth is based on sexual dominance is superficial. That's also very, very true. Very, very true. My final point on that, and I'll get off this and go back to the video, is value. The regard that something is held. The regard that something is held to deserve. The regard that something is held to deserve. The importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Okay, so I mean that kind of ties back into worth, but again, when it says the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance or worth or usefulness of something, and again that kind of ties back into what I said about worth in terms of men not knowing their value, and that rejecting the value of love. And so here's my thing. Someone said something really interesting. They said, I did all these things and it still didn't work. Do you know what you didn't do? You didn't choose the right person. I'll be very frank with you. You didn't choose the right person. So you did everything, but you didn't choose the right person. Because if you did everything and the person still did their madness, and I'm not talking about cheating, by the way. Cheating, someone can have a moral deficit in a moment. That's completely different. When someone's got a moral deficit continuously, like we saw with John Gray, it's continuous. There's a deficit within that person from the jump. There's a problem with that person from the jump. And okay, maybe the first time, or even the second time we get it. But you know what? His wife should leave. Yeah, after the second time, his wife should leave. Do you know what's really interesting about John Gray's situation, right? As I said somebody, you know what? Which one's worse, right? Someone cheats on you 3 times, 3 separate times, right? On 3 different occasions, says sorry, and then goes back and then cheats again, or says sorry and then goes back and cheats again. Or is it that person? Or is it that person that, or is it worse, that person who has a 3-year affair with one woman? Which one's more forgivable? I'm just wondering. You know what I mean? Because John Gray's situation now is consistent falling. And the consistent falling is telling me that, sir, you're no longer interested in your wife. There we go, Shakara. There we go. Thank you for being honest as well, Shakara. I really do appreciate that as well. I really do appreciate you being honest. This is beautiful, right? Because now she shared this information. The next time you get into a situation with a young man or a gentleman, you now have questions that you can ask along those lines to make sure that if they are insecure, it's not for you. You've done it before, you're not going to do it again. We learn those lessons. So yes, it's a shame, but where John Gray is, it's several times of cheating every time. I think cheating several times over and getting caught each time is more problematic than the whole. Like if my wife cheated on me for 3 years, let's God for freaking bid. Future wife out there, don't even think about it. But if she cheated me over 3 years, but then let's say in a 3-month period, she had 3 men, which one am I going to be more vexed about? I think the one that is the 3. I think the 3 time. No, if she cheated and I said, "Oh, forgive me," and then cheated again, I think that would be worse for me. You know what I mean? That's just my mind thinks anyway. But yeah, she's basically in another free relationship. That's very true. Very true. When it did happen to me, I couldn't go back. When someone did cheat that particular way and actually pretty much had a relationship, I couldn't go back. I tried, I couldn't do it. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So, I just think to myself, like, nobody's perfect. And you know what? If someone does cheat, maybe that could be workable. But we need to choose partners that first and foremost, just do the basic. We need people that are going to do the basic. You need people that are going to do the basic, communicate, talk, share their feelings, share their heart, share their thoughts. You know what I mean? Love, care, appreciation. We need just the basics. Honestly, people, we need the basics. The basics. Yeah. Build from there. Anyway, let's go back to the video, man. Sorry. Apologies, guys. Back to the video. The video's gone on longer than I thought it would go on. Someone said, I don't believe someone can cheat only once. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I appreciate that. All right.
I'm real. So I'll say exactly what the stage is. Like I told my ex-wife, this is what I desire. I'll tell the woman, this is why I would never marry you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just real. I'll say exactly what it is and let you decide whether or not you want to play whatever role it is. And I'm just honest. That's one of the things that one of the great qualities about me is I'm extremely honest. And that's why when I started operating in deceit, it was so outside of my character. Where I had to tell my wife. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is like, I wrote names, I wrote the amount of occurrences, this is what she did, this was just oral sex that she did, this right here was, I wrote it all on a piece of paper.
So when did your wife find out? After how long? And
okay, so he said something very interesting, and I think this is where the audience got a little bit annoyed at him. Okay, I think it's where the audience got a little bit annoyed at him. I think when he said, obviously, you know, I'm Katie, you're banned. When he said, obviously, he's an honest person, you know, inherently an honest person, so it really hurt him that he was being dishonest. I think I saw some comments. People were getting annoyed at that, right? And I'll be very frank with you. Know, can I be honest with you and true? When you're self-aware, right, you have to also be honest with yourself, right? I think I'm a very honest person, right? I think I'm a very honest person, but I'm also know I'm a very deceitful person. I'll be honest with you. Maybe not deceitful is the wrong word. Manipulative, right? I can be, right? Because I know how emotions work. I know how humans' mind work. So I have to be honest with myself that as well as I'm very truthful, I can also be very manipulative. So yes, it might hurt me that I was not being truthful, but I have to be honest with myself and bring the other side, which is the dark side of me, is I can manipulate. So if I know that, if I just leave it as, oh, you know what, I'm very truthful and it hurt me, that wasn't the thing, people are going to take it a certain way. Because like, if you were truthful, right? If you were truthful, you'd have just said it, right? You'd have just said it. So yeah, but truthful doesn't mean it's honest. You know what I mean? Truthful doesn't mean you're honest. Transparent doesn't mean you're honest. When we talk about honesty, we talk about someone being forthright and coming forward with their truth. The truth is the weapon, but the medium is whether you're honest or you're transparent. So he could be truthful when he's questioned. For instance, when Bruni Lee says, "Are you a cheater?" He might say, "Yes, I am," because he's truthful, because he is honest. But is he forthcoming? Because is he honest? If is he honest or is he transparent? There's a big difference. So yes, truth, he is truthful, but in what regard? Because if I'm truthful with being honest, then what I would say is, I would tell you outright, hey, you know what? Let me get ahead of it and tell you guys, yeah. You know what I mean? This is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then someone else might say, hey, you know what? I might not say it, but when you ask me, that's when I say it. I don't know. When I looked at dictionary definitions, that's what I thought it was. It was transparency is you looking into something and being transparent. And honesty is someone having the quality of it. So the quality of it is what pushes you to say something. The transparency is you being, someone can look through you and see you. That's what I always take as honesty being forthcoming rather than transparency. Transparency is not forthcoming. If I'm transparent, doesn't mean I'm forthcoming. I can just, you can ask me a question, I can be transparent, but I have to be forthcoming with it. That's why I looked at it as that. But maybe it's the other way around. You know what I mean? Wow. Okay. You know, there's manipulation. There's some madness in there. I had an ex tell me if I left, people would think something was wrong with me. I left, but I almost believed him. Damn, that's crazy, yo. That's a yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Madness on the ends. All right, cool. This is
about 5 years.
How long into the marriage did you start cheating?
Year 1.
Wait. Nah, I'm sorry. A whole year. It didn't take long then, bro. It didn't take long. Can we be honest? As much as the other excuses are there, yeah, only a year into the 5 year did he start cheating. Let's be honest, bro. That ain't because she weren't giving you no sex. Let's be honest. That's in you. No, let's be honest. I have to be honest with you guys. Look, I'll tell you, yeah, a year into 5, you're already cheating. It didn't take long. There's a deeper darkness within yourself. So okay, why did I want? Okay, so let me be very frank. When I cheated, right? The reason why I cheated on one of my partners, this was like it was early doors. When I was like 18, I've never did it since. Early doors. Reason why I did it, it's not because person wasn't necessarily giving me what I wanted. There was a deep hole of darkness within myself, which was I wanted to feel validated, and I had an ego as well. And I always felt insecure about my relationship with her, in the sense of the fact I felt like she supported me in the relationship. And so for me, in that moment, in those moments, I was in that relationship. It was very tit for tat because I was trying to wrestle back power in the relationship. And it's because of my emotional, avoidant, dismissive attachment issues. And that was forcing me to try and wrestle power in this relationship because I couldn't be vulnerable, right? I couldn't be all the way vulnerable. I could talk about emotions. I could really have a conversation about emotions. I could really counsel, even at that age. But myself, could I share what I need to share? Not necessarily. Could I be vulnerable? Not necessarily. And then in that moment, within that moment, what got me to move mad wasn't what she was doing per se. I remember when I did it, I was like, it's not necessarily about her. It's about the fact that I need to show her that, listen, man can get it too. I was really proving it to myself. You know what I mean? Because if it's a year in and you're barely a year in, oh man, yeah, let's be honest, there's some issues within yourself. Yeah, there's issues within yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. That honeymoon period wore off so quickly. Like, yo, like, you know what I mean? That's why I think there's a little bit of darkness within himself. Maybe he doesn't want to share that truth with us just yet, because there's a lot of truth in there, and not everyone can do it. Not everyone could be that real to the core online, and I can understand that. But there is darkness within yourself, and you have to just be honest. There's something lurking within yourself. You know what I mean? Shakara said, my ex also did that. He wanted the power in our relationship, and I'm not a submissive woman. His first mistake was thinking you're going to change. I told a girl the other day, I said to her, I couldn't marry you. And she said, why? I said, because you're not going to be submissive to me. When I say submissive, not that word, but I said, you wouldn't follow my lead the way I think you would. I need you to follow my lead. Because one, I'm not assertive enough for you, and that's okay. Yeah. You have to be on. I say to people, you have to be honest with yourself. If you lie to yourself, you cause yourself problems. Certain men and women cannot go along with each other because that man doesn't carry enough assertiveness for you. Therefore, when you meet him, you will struggle to follow his leadership. You will consistently go behind his back because you don't feel he has great leadership skills. And it's not okay, but I understand it. So choose somebody who's got a bit more assertive energy. As a man too, if you know you haven't got enough, if you can see this woman does not want to follow your leadership because you don't have enough assertive energy, sir, choose someone else. Choose someone else. They're different. There are varying degrees of assertiveness that people carry. And so you may not be on the top rank, sir. Change. There's someone else for you, man. There's someone else for you. Honestly. Someone else for you. Why am I trying to change Shakara? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you told me what you are, what you like. I've seen it. I'm not going to change you. I'm just going to be like, you know what? I appreciate that, but it's not for me. Yeah. Sorry. Appreciate you sharing that, Shakar. Bingo. She said she's more of a share type woman. That's fair enough. I appreciate that.
Away.
You ain't gotta say right away. Just say year one. I say year one. Just repeat what I say. Just say year one.
So then 5 years into the marriage, when she found out, how did she find out?
I told her.
It was too much guilt.
And I wanted to just be better. You know what I'm saying?
So she had no idea for 5 years.
I think she assumed a lot, but you just don't have no proof. You just assume. You know, you're like, man, something ain't right.
Damn. So 5 years in, that's when she found out. Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, I told you. Listen, let me tell you something. Had he not said anything, she might not have never known. Who knows?
These girls you keep telling me your friend, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it was that sort of stuff. She was, I mean, let's face it, she got the Holy Spirit in her life. So the Holy Spirit was telling her stuff. Yeah. It's just that I'll be like, girl, come on, that's not what that is. See, why you act like that? It's not even that.
Right.
So I would just lie.
Would you say you loved her, your wife?
100%.
So you believe that men can cheat and still love?
And still love the person.
How?
Now, be in love is a different story.
Okay, explain.
Because love is, like, heck, I had a dog and I love my dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not to compare my wife or anybody to a dog, but that's that agape love. That's that love that even may be phileo, which is the friendship love. You may have, like I said at the very beginning, I was good friends with my wife. So we had friendship love, but we lacked the eros love, which is the erotic love. So I loved her. I love what she stood for. I just didn't believe. And then you can love somebody and still not have a strength in the area. So the reason why I cheated, because I had a lack of integrity. So I still love her, but my flaw, my lack of integrity caused me to seek outside attention where it was not present in my present relationship. So that's why you have to look at them different. A lot of women be like, how can you love me? You cheat on me. He likes, I love you and I cheat on you. And then you gotta understand, how does that person see love? It may not be on the level of love that you desire, because your love may be love is faithful to me. Yeah. And he says, well, love is paying these bills and keeping these lights on. You know, love is coming home to you. These other women don't mean nothing. And that's what he means. That's why I say I don't even get caught up when somebody says they love me. You know, they're like, I love you. So what does that mean? That's the first thing I ask. It may sound crazy. What does that mean to you? What does love really mean to you? I mean, I just feel like I can spend the rest of my life with me. What does that mean? Could you be faithful to me for the rest of your life? What if I did this? What if I end up getting sick? Could you do this? I'll start bringing out pieces of those marriage vows and say, do you love me like this?
Do you think your ex-wife loved you?
Yes. But she only loved me to a certain level of sacrifice, because our marriage wasn't based on sacrifice. It wasn't much that she sacrificed. Right. And she would say stuff like, well, I sacrificed in certain areas. She sacrificed where she was comfortable sacrificing. But when it was like, and one thing I can applaud her for, but then say, is that she never fought for our marriage. And she said it. She's like, I'm not going to, you want to leave? Leave. She never once told me not to divorce her.
I respect that.
Yeah. So I was like, cool. But the reality is it made me more peaceful in divorcing her.
How?
Because there was nothing to fight for.
Wow.
It was
that dead.
Because he said love ain't something worth having is something worth fighting for. We hear that a lot. And we say, well, that may bring on a toxic culture, but it's not true. If I really, really, really want you, I'm going to give a little bit of effort towards keeping you. Now, if you just automatically, if I say, hey, I don't want to be with you no more, and you be like, or if I say, man, I just want to get divorced, you're like, fine, get divorced. You're like, well, God, no. You know what I'm saying? So It didn't really mean nothing to either one of us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it should be something there, not to chase a man, not to chase a woman, but it should be something that makes him feel like, even this, I really, really hate that you're divorcing me, because I never, ever wanted us to ever get divorced. And I love you. I can't imagine my life without you. But if that's what you desire, then I'm not going to stand in your way, because I love me more than to fight you and to force you to stand with me. But I never want you to leave. Then that right there is like, oh, Jesus.
But would that have changed your mind?
Probably not, but it sounded good. Now, the point of the matter was, I said that she could have said that and it made me feel less guilty.
But then she could also say, if you really wanted to be in a marriage, you wouldn't have been.
All right, no, I didn't want to be in a marriage.
So
I didn't want to.
We'll say that neither one of you wanted to fight for the marriage.
Yeah.
But she would have still been married to you if you hadn't cheated, right?
Yeah, we just been miserable married.
But was she unhappy?
I don't know, because she don't talk a lot. Like my ex-wife, she wouldn't talk a lot. She wouldn't. That's a whole other issue. That's again. Right. So I wouldn't know anyway.
Okay, so what he just said there. Okay, at the end, he said obviously, you know what? She doesn't really talk a lot, and doesn't really express a lot. You will know that from the very beginning. Oh my gosh, my throat here. You'll know that about the person from the very beginning if they can express themselves. Like, people struggle to express themselves. You will know when you start talking to them. You start to realize they can't express themselves. You know what I mean? You know, again, it's very simple. Like if you struggle to hear that from your mate at the beginning or your partner from the beginning, why did we go forward again? So again, there's several instances of things that we're missing from the very beginning. I'm not saying anyone's perfect. It's not about being perfect, but there are certain things that are, again, our essential basic needs. I need somebody who's going to communicate with me. I'm not trying to read your mind. I need somebody who's going to say how they feel. I need somebody who's going to express these things that are on their heart. If you can't do that, then bro, like, walk on. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a tough one, though, but yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a nut one still.
That's why I said now we cool. We cool this very day.
What if she was happy in the marriage with you?
If she was happy?
Yeah.
Then
like she would have stayed with you if you didn't cheat. Would that still not have been enough for you?
No, because it was some things that I said that the relationship was broken by, that I needed it to thrive. I needed certain things that happen and for a mind shift to happen in order for legacy to be created, in order for us to stay together, for us to be thriving together or whatnot. And that just wasn't present.
And was these things that you had communicated with her?
100%.
But she wasn't willing to change?
Not at all. She said, I am.
She's like, this is who I am.
She said.
Which do you believe is fair?
Yes. And that's why I say the reason why we got divorced is the reason why I had paused to even get married in the first place.
Can we speak to the brokenness that you mentioned? What you've had therapy now, you've gone through that process, just obviously still ongoing process. What is that brokenness that made you seek out other women?
The codependent spirit, the sense to feel needed. I remember when I was touring shows across the country, and I go from touring shows across the country to doing nothing, and money dried up and all that. Where I went to go accumulate wealth so I could feel like I deserved a wife, because I grew up in a poor family. My father wasn't doing well taking care of my mom or whatnot. And so I said, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go make money and then I'm going to marry somebody and I'm going to give her the life that I wish my mom could have. But then when that dried up, then I said, I don't deserve to be married because I can barely take care of myself right now. So healing that brokenness, to recognize that marriage vow, for richer or for poor, she never put that burden on me. I carried that burden. I wrote a Facebook message, a post on our anniversary that said, I had to research the etymology of what husband means. And the word husband is defined as householder, one that holds his house together. Well, I didn't know that. See, we get married and we take these vows and don't even know what the role is, you know? And I was like, wow, that's interesting. But it's a huge mandate on the word husband. And so I didn't know that. Here I was 28 years old saying these vows, not understanding what it is. And then about 30, when my money started drying up and I'm facing foreclosure, about to lose my condo and Lexus got repossessed and all this type of stuff, my identity was attached to the finances and to the money of what made me feel like a husband. And in that letter I wrote, but my wife never once made me feel inadequate. It was me.
It was you.
It was all self-inflicted.
So in what you were saying is that you almost felt inadequate. Like, I would use the word loser.
Yes.
In not having the money, not having the father, not having like lack. It was like a poverty mindset.
When I became broke. Yes.
Right, when you became broke.
I had to feel.
Listen, that's a real thing. I'm not going to lie to you. That is a real thing amongst us as men. I don't think you ever really outgrow that because, you know, we are so heavily judged on our financial aspects that, you know what, if you don't have money, at least, and I mean a means of money, as in to support yourself, you ain't never going to feel happy. So I can understand why he might have felt inadequate in that moment. No, nothing that she would have said would have made it feel better, because as men, we're called to work. That's the honest truth, right? It doesn't mean you should go and cheat, but I'm saying, again, I can understand that inadequacy that you might have felt within yourself, because work for us as men is important. You know, it's very, very important. Someone said, how does that translate to inadequacy, to cheating? Well, the truth of the matter is that for us as men, and again, it's not an excuse, it's more of an explanation. So us feeling inadequate, we will go somewhere where we feel like we're adequate. Right? Because obviously, if my wife at the level it is at the point now, I'm at the same level as you, right? This is what I feel I deserve, right? But like you said, when I lost the money, I don't feel like I deserve you anymore. Remember I told you about value and worth systems? I don't feel like I'm worth you again. So now me going out and having sex with other women who mean nothing really to me is a match of my actual value and worth. Because the same way I'm going to use them for sex is the same way I'm going to feel adequate. The same way I'm going to use them for sex is the same way I'm going to value them when it comes to their worth in my life. I don't value you the same way because I value on a much more higher plane. But remember I said to you earlier on about if you don't have a good value system or worth system within yourself, this will happen. You know, this can happen. And it can easily happen. You know what I mean? If you don't check yourself as well. So it's tight. You know, I personally, I mean, I haven't heard much of him blaming her. I don't know what maybe you guys are hearing something different from me. Maybe I'm not hearing everything. I heard him take accountability for what he was saying. I thought he was saying it was himself. I don't think he said it was her. He said quite clearly that it was inadequate within himself. It wasn't her. She never did anything to make him feel a type of way. And he never said he wanted to change her. He actually said he doesn't want her to change. He wants her to continue. He just realized that the same thing that obviously made him had pause for his marriage, also the same thing that got him divorced. So I didn't hear the blame. What did he say that was blaming her? I'm a little bit confused. What did he say that was blaming her? Maybe I need to just listen a bit more tighter. But yeah, let me know in the comment section.
A bankruptcy and all that good stuff.
Whilst you were married?
Yes.
So this affected your self-esteem?
100%.
And in order to get your power back, do you feel like you wanted power in other women?
Yeah, sort of. It was just more of just self-medicating. So it was like women were a release to be like, and these were people, I wouldn't just go out and find some random chick. It'd be women that I knew, friends and stuff like that. So it'd be, I would have sex when we'd be cool. It was my moment of release. I remember in the movie Fences where she said, don't you think I want to go up somewhere and forget it and shut out the problems of my world and have sex with somebody, blah, 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 blah. But she said that, and she hit the nail on the head. August Wilson penned a beautiful play. But in that, he was saying that when they go escape and they go into adulterous relationship or affairs, it's to forget about home. It's to forget about whatever stress and struggles they going on. Because with the quote unquote side chick or the one you're sleeping with, y'all ain't talking about bills and balancing this and raising kids and all. You ain't talking about nothing.
Escapism.
Yeah, you just escape and go do what you gotta do, and you come back and face it again.
There's this quote that says pain seeks pleasure.
Yes.
When someone's in pain, they seek pleasure to, like you said, medicate.
Yes.
So as much as you was medicating, you was, I guess, driving a bigger hole in creating a bigger mess.
100%. I went to therapy.
After the divorce?
No, I went through it while I was in the divorce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to this program at my church called Celebrate Recovery. And it's an international program. It's a group therapy.
Well, I think you actually explained it quite well in terms of what we're talking about when we said about how men's worth is problematic. And this, I said this to another, when I was having a conversation with another woman. The same woman I said about this, why I wouldn't marry her. And I said something very interesting. I said, I gave her a scenario. I gave her a scenario, and this is a really important lesson for some people here, men and women. I gave her a scenario. I said, let's say let's say we had a decision to make. And I said to you, let's go left, right? But you knew right was right. And I thought left was right, right? So just hear me out on this point. Like, hopefully you guys will get the understanding of what I'm about to say in this next part, okay? So I gave an example to a young lady, and I said to her, imagine we have a decision to make. Go left or go right. I gave you reasons as to why we're going left. You gave me reasons as to going right. We're both saying that we think we're right. And then I say to you, listen, I'm going to trump this. I'm going to lead, and I'm going to go left, right? Let's go left. I asked her, would you follow the lead to go left? She said, yes. She'll follow the lead to left, but obviously she knew that she felt right was right. Cool. I said to her, the next time we have the same issue, what will happen? Will you go left with me again, or will you go right? And then she said, right? And then she said in that point, yeah, next time I'm just going to have to take over. And I said, that is why oftentimes this situation happens here. I'm just going to say it. I know some of you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to say it. Many times, especially, and this comes back down to, I always say the root cause always comes back down to men not leading their homes very well. Because when you don't lead your home very well, your children grow up in a very particular way, right? And when we talk about very much big boy independence amongst women, I'm going to be very frank with you. I always say this to men. You never marry a woman that doesn't respect your leadership. It's that simple. Don't marry her. It's that simple. Do not marry the woman that does not respect your leadership, right? If you're and I'm taking one aspect of it. I'm talking about decision making. Someone said to protect your ego, let him lead you off a cliff. But we're not talking about a cliff. You've taken it to an extreme, which is not the extreme I'm going to. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about that. What we're talking about, and again, if he's leading you off a cliff, then what kind of man do you have? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're talking about. The key thing I'm trying to express here is, and I say this to men all the time, and I'll say it again one more time, and then I'll come on to my point. Don't marry the person who doesn't respect your leadership, because these situations, as a man, when you feel like the person hasn't got your back on your decision making, what's going to happen is the person will go behind your back, and then arguments ensue, and then we split. Because there are times where, as a man, you get things wrong, but if I feel like I've got no safe place to land, what you've created is a space of perfectionism. Right? That's what you've created. That's what we've created. So if there is no safe landing space when I get things wrong, that you can't trust my leadership after that, you've created an environment of imperfectionism. And in perfectionism, everybody suffers. Right? So again, I'm not giving him an excuse for what he's saying. I'm actually explaining about an example. So it's not his excuse of why he's cheating or anything like that. This is just in a conversational aspect we're discussing, right? If you decide, and you've got to be very, very, because with men, it's very tricky. It don't take much to throw us off balance. You know what I'm saying? It don't take us much for us to balance. Hey, if you feel that's an ego talking, that's fine. But every man's got an ego. So what you gonna do? I'm gonna keep it 100. Look, I'm going to keep it so real with you people, so that you don't go, so that you know you're not blind, and that you're not saying I didn't know. Your man's got an ego. You're gonna have to deal with it. There's no such thing as a man that don't have an ego. No such man exists. That man was Jesus, and there is no other man after Jesus. Every man has an ego, right? Everyone has an ego. So if now I'm saying to you, listen, let's take a decision to go left. And by the way, this is not a, oh my God, we don't talk about it. We don't have a conversation. We don't thingy. If I'm telling you that, listen, we both said left or right. Right? We both said left. I said left, you said right. Again, I keep saying this as well. There are different types of leadership men. I keep saying to you, there are different types of men that have different levels of assertiveness. And when women meet these men with a certain level of assertiveness, they yield. That's my whole point. So if you wouldn't yield to me, it's fine. I probably don't have the leadership that you require. You don't trust my leadership, and that's okay. It's not you I should marry. Simple as. It's not you I should marry, because I've met women that are like, do you know what, bro? I trust your leadership. Go. And there are other women that will say, no, I don't want to trust your leadership. And do you know what? It's not even necessary that she's even too independent. I don't have the leadership that she requires, that she feels she can respect. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get you guys to understand, right? And what frustrates me about this kind of conversation is people go to the absolute extreme. Am I saying that, you know what, he should be an authoritarian and drag you everywhere? No. What I talked about was, if there's no safe landing space for a man to make decisions, we create an environment of perfection. Meaning now, and whenever we create an environment of perfection, what can happen is, if there's an environment of perfection, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. And now it's no longer a safe place for me. Right? Now there's no safe place for me. So now I do things to avoid it, or I do things that kind of cartel this particular environment. And that's why I said, like, it's, again, different levels for different people. That's why I said, any man in this situation, whether the women agree or not, I don't talk to them. I don't really mind. As for us as men, don't marry the girl that don't respect your leadership. Right? Someone said shared partnership. If that man is a shared partnership type of guy, fantastic. If that type of man is a shared type of partnership kind of guy, fantastic. Right? If you share everything, and I mean everything, including finances, if you share everything, right, then cool. Right? Then cool. Then you go with that. Right? I'm not even going to say it's bad or anything like that. You know, lovely. Sometimes soft, safe places include constructive feedback. I love this. Constructive feedback is great. Right? Constructive feedback is amazing. That's what people want to hear. Constructive feedback. Not you now, and that's why I said to you, I gave you an example at the very beginning, a beautiful example, because I like the example I gave because I knew what was going to happen. I said to the person, so the next time, what will you do? And the person told me exactly what they would do. They would go behind they would say, "Aye, listen, next time I'm going to take over." That answer was enough for me. You wouldn't follow my lead next. If I make a mistake, you can't trust my leadership after that again. That's cool. I now know what kind of environment I'm going into. As a man, I am the fool if I then continue to then want to progress with you when I now know how you would act if I make one mistake. It's not a beef. I understand where she's coming from. So it's not a beef. It's just that I know I can't do that with you. I can't. And I'm not about to teach you. I haven't got the time. And I'm not about to even try and do that because that might be changing you. And that's a lot of work that's not for me to do. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't involve myself in that, right? I can guarantee you another man will come along. And I said this to her as well. Another man will come along who you can tell, just even by the way he walks in, you're not about to argue with him. That's because his level of assertiveness is on a different level. Right? So what I'm saying to you is, of course, and nobody's saying bow down to a crappy leader. Like I keep saying it, like it's not about having a crappy leader. Let's not talk about abusive, crappy partners. They are not involved in this example. Yeah, if you've got a crappy partner, they're not just crap in leadership; they're crap everywhere. Like let's not bring them into an example. Crap leaders in everything, they're crap. You know they're crap. They're crap in everything. All right, they're crap in everything. Yeah, yeah, you know that already. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're not good at anything. Let them go. All right. We're talking about just people that you're rolling with, and like I said, it's for those obviously who are sensible, in sensible relationships. Like, you know what I mean? Those are unsensible relationships. But yeah. So sorry. Anyway, back to my back to what I was saying. Okay. Yeah. So constructive feedback is amazing. It's important. As a leader, I want constructive feedback. And here's an aspect of part of my leadership. I don't lead on. Hold on. I hope my phone is not dying on me. My phone's going to die on me in a second. Hold on, guys. 2 seconds. I'm going to change this real quick. Yeah, it's about to die on me. Boy. I'm out here kissing the mic and stuff, guys. Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Yes, let's see if it will work now. Hopefully it won't go off. All right, fantastic. We're back. Hopefully it will stay strong. Okay. I hope it will stay strong. All right, cool. So, yes. So constructive feedback, absolutely amazing. All right. Constructive feedback, absolutely amazing. We need that in relationship. We need that in our leadership as well. Number 2, leadership that doesn't consult, it's not leadership. Can I say that again? All right. I mean, there's a type of leadership that is, right? But that's not effective for a relationship, right? Authoritarian leadership is not what we're describing here. Okay. Authoritarian leadership is not what we're describing here. My example was, okay, about the fact that we had a forked road. And I said, would you trust me to go left? Now, even if I made a mistake, even if I was wrong, would you trust my leadership to go left? So long as it's not going to be divisive to the point where we're going to die. Those are different examples. Walking off a cliff is an extreme example. We're saying go left, go right. Right? Go left, go right. Right? So what I'm saying to you is, simple example like that. If I get it wrong, next time, are you going to override me just because I got it wrong? Like, that's what I'm saying. And also before that, and this is a really good point. I should have proven my leadership to you before then. This is what I'm talking about. I should have proven my leadership to you before then, which is why I gave that example, because you may have a way of thinking about certain things. Your immediate response will be, I don't trust leadership. That's fine. You are a very independent person. That is fine. If that's what works for you, it works for you. But I'm saying to you, a lot of us as men, that might not be us, that might not be us, example, that might be cool. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for us, do you know what I'm saying? So this is, thank you. This is why you vet during the dating phase. You pay attention to these kind of things. It's why you have to find out people's mindset to these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So, I know people weren't going to like what I said. I understand that, but I'm going to still say it again. You know what I mean? Again, when we say about leading, it does not mean that you don't get a say. It doesn't mean I don't listen to you. I've always said this as well. Look, if my wife is better at doing finances, why the frick am I going to lead in that area? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I leading in things that I'm not better at than you are? You're a better leader in this area. Why would I lead in it? It doesn't make sense. For me, it doesn't make sense. That's an egotistical type of leadership. That's different. You know what I mean? But if I know that the weakness is here, you're better in this area, why would I then be like, you know what? I'm going to lead it still. Then that's an ego situation. That's completely different. That's completely different. Right? So, like I said, I said, I think I said to her, I was saying to the same guy, I said, I know someone who's better at organization, right? Someone who's better at organization. So in that area, I'll be like, babe, listen, you are much better at organization than I am, right? I beg you take that on, right? You take that. When it comes to organization, babe, when you look at this, I'm going to give you this plan. This is what I'm thinking of. You go for it, babe. Right? Because I can tell your strengths are in this area. Why am I fighting you in that area? That's what I'm saying about this egotistical leadership, which is concerned about power. And there is leadership that is not concerned about power, but concerned about who's better at this particular aspect. So if I'm looking at a road and I'm like, I have no clue whether we should go left or right. I have no clue. None at all. And you say to me, you definitely know it's right. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, if you think it's right, why do you think it's right? Okay, he says X, Y, Z. All right, let's go right, man. Because I personally, when I looked at it, I didn't have any. So let's go right. Do you know what I mean? You're going to buy a house. God hasn't told me which house we're going to buy. I know about houses, but I'm not an expert. But you're saying X, Y, Z. I said, okay, babe, I can bring this to the table. Do you want X, Y, Z about the house? You think this house is good? Oh, cool, let's get a house. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the corporation I'm talking about. That's the kind of leadership I'm talking about. There are certain areas you're not going to have all the answers for. You're not going to be an expert in that field. So why would you know what I'm saying? You can still delegate. You can still delegate as a good leader. That's what you do. You still delegate. There's a way to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? I don't play with God. So my one is I don't play with God. If God tells me to go left, pack your bags because we are all going left. You know what I mean? Pack your bags because we are all going left. You understand? Yeah? We are all going left. If God says, if God tells me we got to go left, even if he doesn't give you a dream, it's up to you. But he told me we got to go left. Pack your bags, we are going to left. You understand? Yeah? Because I don't play my relationship with God, and I believe that when he speaks, I hear. So I'm not playing. Let's go. He said left. I'm not dilly-dallying. I'm not about to do an Abraham situation. Get your bags and let's go. We are going left. I don't want to hear the cheat. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I would hear what you got to say. And I'll tell you again, we still going left. Because he told me we got to go left. Okay? No offense, but we got to go left. Okay? Because he said we're going left. So there are different instances. If you tell me now what holiday to choose, and you say we're going to Mallorca or we're going to New York, I am not going to now complain with you. You know what I mean? If that's what if you say New York is better than California or whatever, I'm just saying something random, guys. And you say to me, yeah, a better holiday destination for us is New York. I don't really know about the holiday things. I'm not about to argue with you. You said it's better? Let's go. You said it's better? Let's go. I'll follow your lead. What do you need? Do you need the money for it? All right, money here. Let's go do it. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't want to leave from a false sense of egotistical confidence. If I don't know it, I don't know it. If you know it, fantastic, lead on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, listen. Sorry, we've diverted from the call. That was good. That was good conversation. I appreciate you guys having different viewpoints as well, though, guys. By the way, I actually do appreciate you guys having different viewpoints. I think it helps with the conversation because then it makes me think as well. So when sometimes when I'm reading your comments, I'm also trying to really think as well. Like, what am I saying? I have to think where it's coming from as well. So no, I'm also taking that in as well, and as well. Absolutely, Miss 92, Lisa at 1. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely hear that. You know what I mean? Definitely hear that. Good point. Someone said, if you're top of the game, respect has to be given. Only simple people don't respect people that are experts or the best. I totally hear that. Women, we do have intuition, trust that, and communicate this to your partner. If he's a good leader, he will trust in and incorporate your thoughts. Absolutely, I agree that as well. Yeah, I actually hear that. The right man can still lead you wrong. We're not perfect beings. Absolutely agree that. Can do as well. Appreciate Coach J's perspective, but I'm telling you, application of what he's saying is easier said than done. Absolutely. It's, again, nothing's going to work perfectly the way it is. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to be perfectly done, but it's all about mindset. Like that's why I said to you guys, as for me, my first question was, would you take my last name? And some of you said, I'm double or barreling. I said, at that point, I'm out. I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, that was my thing. I said, I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm out. that was my thing. You know what I mean? Like I said, as soon as I hear that, because when you tell some woman, would you take my last name? She's like, yeah, I'll take your last name. Boom. I'm not about to argue with you. Like, we're not about to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to borrow your name, I would borrow your name elsewhere. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. Yeah, it's not for me. For me, I'm preventing rather than curing. You are not going to follow my lead. I can already tell. It's okay. We're going to have fights, and I don't need that fight. If you want to have your name, you keep your name. You keep it. It's no problem at all. You keep it. It's just not for me. All right? All right? Yeah? That's as long as you keep it. You do what you want to do, love. All right? You do what you want to do. I appreciate y'all. Do what you do.
The program takes about a year. Went through that whole process. And then just got very involved in church, and then ended up getting a divorce, and then got more therapy, and then started this podcast where weekly I'm in therapy. It's just that I'm wrapped around facing the ugly truth about who I was.
Can I ask how your podcast is helping to heal you?
Oh shoot, to sit in front of thousands of people weekly, being accountable, saying stuff that I kept private, because God said, I can't heal what you won't reveal. So even in that, the Bible says, confess your faults one to another so that you may be what? Healed. So my podcast is the epitome of that. I literally confess my faults. Some lady DM'd me one time, was like, why do you always talk about that you cheated on your husband? I cheated on your wife. Have you forgiven yourself for that? And I was like, yes. Well, but why do you say that all the time? I said, that's what healing looks like.
Right. It's a story.
Yeah. When I was hiding, you wouldn't hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? So now, just because I talk about it now, why you even talk about it? Because that's what healing looks like.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was, because the Bible says, confess your faults one to another. That's what therapy is, so that you may be healed. And so when I get on the podcast and I talk about this stuff, God is just healing me, and he's healing the world. He's healing other men. Men DM me all the time, and they start talking to me about a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just been absolutely amazing.
That's actually beautiful. Quickly, I want to talk on vulnerability. How far is too far for you? How far is too far in sharing and oversharing? Because like you said, that person messaged you and said, why are you always talking about this? And some people get annoyed and angry and triggered by vulnerability. How do you know when you're sharing too much?
Well, I believe my rule of thumb is when I'm uncovering someone else in the story. So it's like someone that didn't ask for it. Like, for instance, for my ex-wife, it's like if I'm sharing, what makes me even comfortable in this interview is I've shared even more than I have shared ever about our relationship. She didn't ask to be on the podcast. She didn't ask to be in the video. She didn't ask me to do what I do. So when I'm doing that, I feel a little, But, and so I always ask, even when I dropped the first video where I talked about my infidelity, it was an episode that I did in season 1 called To Cheat or Not to Cheat. And I had Joey Greco from the TV show Cheaters. Well, before I released that video, I sent it to her and said, how do you feel about this? Because when I was married, I said, I want to talk about it. And she's like, no, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. I would have to field questions from my family. I got divorced, I'm no longer obligated to that. So I sent it to her just as common courtesy. And she looked at it, she said, and this is what I like about you. When you start operating in your God space, it's beautiful. She said, the podcast looks absolutely beautiful. She said, though I hate the name of it, but she said, because I'm the wife that you should stay with. But and that's the first time she ever said that. And I was like, well, doggone it, did you just kind of shoot your shot? But that was the only time. Yeah, she said, you know, I'm the wife you should have stayed with.
Wow,
and I was like, wow,
that's deep.
That was it. So I sent it to her, had her blessings over it, and then now I share. And then she said what she loved about it is I never uncovered her in it. I just always talked about my lack of integrity.
Yeah. What would you say to people that may have listened to your story about your cheating and tried to condemn or judge you? What would you say to those people?
I won't say nothing to them. I literally won't say nothing to them. See, because at the end of the day, this is my journey. Like, it's my journey, and it's what I did. It's not who I am. It's what I grew from. This podcast that people have fallen in love with would not have been birthed had I not gone through that. You know, so it's all things are working together for the good of them that love God and to the called according to his purpose. The reason why I can resonate, the reason why a marriage was redeemed on my podcast with Tavia and Jewel is because I saw the brokenness in this man. And when I had him come on the podcast in the first episode, I began to be able to speak to them in ways that no one else has been able to speak to them. And then I sponsored the therapy, and then I brought him back on the podcast with the therapist. And the guy said, no, he even told his wife, I'll go through therapy, but the terrorist has to find a therapist.
Wow.
And I said, I already had him 6 months in advance. So that's what I mean. It's because I went through that. But had I not went through that, I wouldn't be able to see that. I'm like, oh, y'all all right. Like church folks do, oh, y'all be all right. No, I saw it. I saw they were on their way to divorce before they even reached their 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And
I hear what you're saying, because interesting. Listen, you know what I'm gonna do? I will definitely cut this up. What I'm gonna do is I'll cut it into sections, because this has been really, like, you guys in the chat have been really amazing. And I want to just appreciate people in the chat and us live, because when we have discussions, you guys are very respectful. Whether you agree or you disagree, you guys are very respectful. Even in this conversation today, we had some fun. We joked around. And I just want anyone who's joining this YouTube space as well, I want you to understand, listen, when you join this space, it's fun, it's vibes, it's real conversation. And we have real thoughts, and not everyone's going to agree with me. And this is not a place of dictatorship. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. That's why the chat is there, so I can see it. You know, some of you might not agree, and that's really good, because, again, I could be wrong, and I won't know until some of you guys might put something. I'm like, oh, wait, the way you said that, maybe I didn't really think of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really do appreciate you guys' questions and your perspectives, and some of you guys have different perspectives. I like it, you know, because it really helps to have a more holistic aspect at looking at points. There's a point here I want to add as well. 2 L's put, I'm highly inquisitive, so it's not a distrust of leadership in the situation, just like to understand for myself. And I think this is a really important part, right? 2 L's, what you've put here, right? Something that I'm also learning as well is that, and I learned this from one of my previous exes, is asking the why question, you know, the why question, and trying to understand where the person's coming from. Like, if you tell me that, you know what, I'm trying to be inquisitive, it's not that I'm distrusting your leadership, I'm being inquisitive, then I know the why. That's completely different. You know, I know the why now, and I can understand where you're coming from. And, you know, that's not a distrust of leadership. That is you saying, I just want to know. You know, you like to know why. You like to know why this and why that. That's different. You know, that's actually that's the inquisitive nature. And that's slightly different. And so that, I believe, is good, healthy conversation of understanding the why aspects with people as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good to and I think this is for men. Anybody man watching this as well, it's good to ask that extra question. You know, that, you know, sometimes we can think it is something, but it isn't necessarily something. You know, sometimes you just need to ask the extra why question. Why does this make you feel this particular way? And that's why I said I learned a lot from my previous relationship, because even though there were some aspects that were a bit mad, there were some really great teaching moments in terms of communication, you know, asking that extra question as to why you feel this way, or if you feel scared, why is it that you feel scared? What is happening to you? And just that general level of understanding and being able to conversate and get a deeper, you know, understanding of these people, where they're coming from. It really does help, you know, your patience and your empathy and your understanding. When you don't understand somebody, or when you think you've understood them without actually hearing their side, you just go in straight into zoop mode. So when you're with a partner, it's very difficult to do that. But it's a really good practice asking that extra question. Why is it that you feel that way? You know what I mean? Why is it you feel that way? So yeah, love the conversation. Like I said, I'll chop it up so it's a bit more smaller, so anybody else watching it, you can watch it in smaller chunks. But it's been really good conversation, I think, in terms of just different viewpoints as well. Love that, Shakara. Thank you very much. Love that as well. The queen won't quit. You have to be someone that cares about you enough. Do you know what's interesting? I said, I was finding this out. I said, my best type of partner is an INFJ. Okay, my best type of partner is an INFJ. And when I've met them, I know who they are straight away, because the compassion and the love and the appreciation, the care, the delicacy that they meet you with, oh, for me, it is just beautiful. You know what I mean? Then I met the rest of you guys, after other 15 personality tests. I'm like, freaking heck. But all jokes aside, and so if anyone's done that test, listen, that test is a really good test. It just kind of helps why you might be drawn to certain people. I think, for me, I'm realizing certain things like, whoa, okay, when I start realizing I've got weaknesses, you know what I mean? I need to start really fixing up on some of those weaknesses. But yeah, if you're INFJ, hit me up in the DMs. If you're not INFJ, you can try it, but you're not an INFJ, innit? Do you know what I mean? I'm kidding. But listen, guys, it's been, ladies and gentlemen, it's been very, very powerful. Loved every moment of this. And we'll see you a little bit later. Tonight, sorry, I need to tell you guys, tonight we're live. I'll put the post up after I've done this. We're having the conversation around submittance. Okay, submission. Okay, someone said, Verbal Assassin says she's an INFJ, baby. I'm looking at baby. Okay, anyway, but we're having a live tonight. It's going to be on the topic with Cam Newton, submission, but we're going to have a panel of people. So I've got some of the people there. If you want to have your say on the Cam Newton situation, send me an email. I'll put the poster up on the community page, so you guys can also as well, if you want to be a part of the conversation. But we're gonna have a conversation about submission. We're gonna have a conversation about what it actually is. Is submission for 2022? Should women be submitting in 2022? That's a question we'll be asking. What time will that be? That will be at 7 p.m. EST, right? 7 p.m. EST? 8 p.m. EST. So that's 7 p.m. CST. Okay, I'll put it in the chat. 8 p.m. EST. Okay, 8 p.m. EST, which is 7 p.m. CST. Yeah, submission live. I'll put it up so you guys can see. Actually, let me just put it up so you get the notification as well. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good conversation. That. Right, and how about putting her name? Cam Newton. What's her name? You already know who it is anyway. Let me just schedule it for it's 1 o'clock a.m. for me, which means tomorrow. Beautiful. All right, cool. So beautiful stuff. I put the live there. I'll put a post up a little bit later. Jazzy, that was it. Thank you. So yeah, we'll be back on a little bit later on tonight, talking about the submission conversation. If you want to join, like I said, send me an email. We'll get involved in the conversation. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, it's a personality type. Thank you, Shakara. It's a personality type. Listen, we'll see you again very, very soon. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you.